When you start to design your homepage, it's important to remember that the banner is the most important section on your homepage. And this is because when someone arrives on your site, the banner is going to be the first thing they see. Whether they engage with this banner or not is what is going to determine whether they scroll further or whether they just leave your site. So it's important to have a strong, high-quality image or video that captures their attention. Also, it's very important to have strong messaging that uses the keywords that people are using to search for your site. You don't want some sort of general message. You want a message on your banner and actually throughout your homepage that speaks directly to specific questions or concerns of someone coming to your site. So there are a few different banner designs that you can choose from. You can choose, a text and image full, so you have an image side by side with some text. Or if you want a more traditional full width banner, just go to the sections menu, click Add Sections, and then you can look at a few other different layouts that we have for full width banners. You would also use this layout, these full width layouts, if you wanted to have a video banner. Another important thing to remember is when you are adding images that the page width is 1280 pixels. And so whenever you are adding images, they kind of need to be in proportion to that size. So if you're going to have an image that takes up half the page, it should be somewhere in the range of 600 to maybe 800 pixels. It shouldn't be 1,000 pixels because that is almost the size of the page. So that's important to remember, especially if you are, say, adding 3 columns and you want to add an image to each of those columns. The image then should be about 400 pixels in width. So you want to, create your banner. I'm just going to use this layout that's already part of this template, but I'll just change the content. So I'm just going to click the edit icon, and I can decide whether I want to show the button or show the image or not. A nice feature is also the padding. So I always usually like to maybe have each side of the padding around set to 15, because that then creates some nice space around your text, which is very important. It's very important to use the white space around, to put white space around text and images, because that actually helps people to focus on that text. For example, if I were to remove the white space, you can see how this kind of stretches the text out, and it actually makes it a bit harder to focus because it's going to the edges of the page. So it's very important to use those padding options to help the visitor focus better on your content. So I'm just going to change some of this text, and I'll just, I think, delete that and, oops, didn't want to do that. Add some text of my own. So I'm just going to grab some text from a different site, and I'll just pop it in here. Now it's also very important to use the proper headings. So this is going to be my heading, and the heading format that is always used for a banner is H1. And H1 is only used in the banner. It's not used anywhere else on the page. So I'm just going to go and change that to H1, and maybe I'll just make that a little larger. Maybe I'll make it bold. I think I'll even make it just a tiny bit larger. And then the rest of the text will just be paragraph text. And I'm going to just change that a little larger. And I think I'll also maybe just remove that space. And let's just kind of see how that looks. And as you can see, I'm making sure I'm using my keywords, membership, website, a website builder. Those are my keywords, and I'm making sure to incorporate those keywords into my text. Because as Google crawls the sites, they will be picking up these keywords and then delivering your site in results. And let me just add another image. And I'll just pick up this one. This image is about 800 pixels by 800 pixels. I'll just upload that. And I can swap the positions if I want. Here's where I would add the button text, the font size. It's very important to kind of be consistent with your design. Always use the same style buttons throughout your page. So if I'm using a pill-shaped button here, I should be using pill-shaped buttons throughout my home page. They should always be the same color. You need to have consistency for your design. Again, that's very user-friendly. So it's good to always keep that in mind. Here's how I change the button shape with the radius, the button border. Now I've added a button border because when I hover, what I've decided to do is to add a little black outline. Again, the hover effect, I would use the same hover effect for all my buttons on the home page. And I always like to use the advanced button settings because that allows me to have more control over the shape of my button. So I recommend these settings, 10 to 12. This denotes top, right, bottom, left, and 30, 12, 30. So these are the settings that I like to use for my buttons. And then once you're done, save and publish now. And we just need for the update to complete. And I can have a quick look as to what it's going to look like if I go full width. And so that's pretty much everything you need to know about the banner. Okay.